Yeah. So what I'm gonna do real quick, Joey, is just go on my Facebook page to make it go live, and then I'll tag you
Okay.
and make it public so everybody can see.
Okay.
Because I don't know why it does that. Joey Kola. Okay. And then I'm going to do a quick promo branding thing, which is always fun.
Okay. How long do you want to stay on for?
We'll stay on for like 30, 45 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
And now we're live. So, hey, Kola.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. Good to be here with you, pal.
Nice to be here with you, too. So, let's introduce you to people.
Okay.
This is Joey Kola, one of my favorite comics in the world, one of my favorite people in the world, one of the nicest guys in the world, one of the funniest guys in the world. Whoa. And you've been doing this, I know. And you've been doing this for 36 years, about?
40 years.
40 years. You need to
my bio is old.
Your bio is 4 years old.
Yeah.
And we've worked together a few times, and I absolutely adore you. And I'm very glad that you're here.
The same goes from me to you, my friend.
Thank you.
I adore you. You make me laugh hard. You're a good person, and you're a force in this business. So it's an honor to know you.
It's an honor to know you. So tell me how things are going. Because you were, let's see what was happening with your life before the virus hit.
Well, so I was very busy. I warm up TV shows. So I warm up the Rachel Ray show, and we were in season 14, and we still had 22 more shows to deliver when this all hit. So I was doing that, and then also I was working on Kevin James's new sitcom. It's called The Crew, and we're doing 10 episodes. We did 7. We have 2 more to do. And they're going to cut them up, and it's going to all drop on Netflix in September. It's about a NASCAR pit crew. So that's a sitcom with a 4-camera shoot with a big audience, and I have my DJ Sean with me doing that.
Nice.
And then we had 17 shows to do in Europe with The Sopranos. I do a thing called Comedy and Conversation with The Sopranos, and it's me, Steve Sciarippa, Mike Imperioli, and Vinny Pastore. And we had 17 shows that were almost sold out in England, Scotland, and Ireland.
Wow!
We had to cancel those, and we had shows here and in Canada too. We had Toronto and Winnipeg and Austin, Atlanta, Chicago, Tarrytown. We had a bunch of shows, and those were all gone. And then I had my own Joey Kola shows, at local comedy clubs around the East Coast,
right?
And in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and. So I had a lot of work going on, so it got canceled, but it's okay. At least, hey, for right now, I got some food in my stomach. I'm with my wife, and my kids are okay, and knocking on wood, everything's okay. We just got this moment here, right now, everything's okay. I don't know what the next moment's going to bring.
Yeah.
I keep my faith strong, and we'll see what happens. That's all. It's a big show. We'll just see what happens in the next segment. That's all. How about you?
How about me?
Well, we just worked together at Oh My God up in Springfield, and it was phenomenal.
It was amazing. Boy, did we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So yeah, like we were basically trying to think what was the next step after doing that, and mostly focusing on fundraisers. But all of those have been canceled. I'm booked at Wisecrackers in July, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
In Pennsylvania?
Yeah, where we were at last year.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's going to happen, and I have a show in November right now that I don't know if it's going to happen. So We went from very, 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 very busy to absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing because you know, people are always like, "Well, if I had some extra time, I would do this, 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 this." I am
Yeah.
that person, and so I'm like, if I had some extra time, I would paint my house, I would clean the inside.
Well, that's what we did. We
I
did
have,
that.
I have taken a lot of naps.
Me too. Me too. I took some naps around 3:30, 4 o'clock. I put on that Me TV and I watched The Rifleman and
Oh,
gun smoke, and it puts me right out.
really?
Yeah, yeah. But my wife and I did the basement. We have this big basement in our house, and it hasn't been done in years. And she painted the whole room by herself.
Wow.
She's amazing. And I tried to caulk the bathroom tub twice, and the
How'd that
caulking
go?
came up. So my wife got this caulking tape, and she wound up doing that today. So
So
she's
your cock didn't work, is what you're
no,
saying.
it didn't. My caulk didn't work. No, no. So here's how it works around here. I attempt to do something, I fail, and then my wife does it,
Well,
and she
yeah.
comes through, and she's a great cook and everything. So I'm having a great quarantine. I can't complain. I'm just been hunkered down, watching my birds and feeding some birds and trying to
Yeah.
get seeds in that I had from last year, some flowers, and doing some
But
yard work.
you also work on raising butterflies, right?
Yeah, I planted the parsley that I have for the black swallowtails, and the milkweed that I put in for the monarchs is coming up now too. So, um,
Yeah.
you plant the host plants, and they come to it, and you provide a shelter and host food for the caterpillars. So that's basically what I do. But we got a bunch of stuff done around here, like you said before. I mean, you usually get no time for things you want to get done. So we've gotten tons of stuff done, and I've rested enough, but I did almost a mile on the treadmill today, so I'm trying to exercise. I got these barbells that I've been lifting, but trying to keep mentally, I will not let this get to me. I will not let it in.
Oh, that's good.
I'm not letting it in. I refuse. I'm strong-willed like you are, and I will not let this near me. I will not let it in. I don't care. I'm gonna write jokes for before this and after it. I'm not
Yeah.
going to really bring too much attention to it, although we have to, kinda. But I'm
Yeah.
not really going to bring too much attention to it. I want to forget about it because in the very beginning when this first started happening, like anything else, people make fun. Oh, look, they make there's jokes about it. But when people start dying, there's nothing funny about that.
Yeah.
And people go hungry. So you can refer to it in a. I mean, I don't even know how I'm going to refer to it, to be honest with you. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. We'll see.
So, but how's everything you're in Springfield now?
Yeah, we're waiting for the sun to. I'm waiting for the temperature to warm up a little bit.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It's still been in the 30s at night. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, it's supposed to get cold again tonight, so I had to take my seedlings in. I
Have
planted
you
a bunch of seeds.
have you turned the heat off in your house?
Like twice.
And then it comes right back on, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what's happening with me. I'm just like, nah, it's too cold.
See,
But I'm getting older now, so at times I have these amazing hot flashes.
Yeah.
Turn the fucking heat off.
Yeah. That's what my wife has that happen also. So she's got the window open and I got 3 Snuggies on, and I'm actually spooning the dog.
It's yeah, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and just get naked, which is a very rare thing for me to do. You want to see it?
Yeah. Well, we're both already naked from the waist down, so we're half naked, right?
I'm not wearing pants.
You know what? Who needs to?
I'm really not. I am not. I call it the half naked conversations with comedians because it's like we really don't have to get fully dressed, right?
No, I guess not. For months on end at this point,
Oh, look at Linda Smith just popped in. I love you, Linda Smith.
Oh, I love you. I love you, Linda. Hi, Linda.
Linda's the best. I love her.
I got a feeling that like I'm gonna be like a mushroom. You know how mushrooms just grow in the dark?
Yeah.
I get a feeling like I'm going to grow like a second penis or a third one or something. I don't know what's going to be coming out of me. I already got.
If you grow a second or third penis, you won't have to worry about doing comedy for the rest
That's
of your life.
exactly right. I'll just be on display somewhere. That's
Just so you know, Linda's not wearing pants either.
I see that, which is very intriguing.
I'm gonna just keep that on there. Linda Smith. So Linda Smith, I met Linda. So I don't know if you know this. Linda is well, she started out as my teacher, then she became my coach, and then she was like a mentor, and then she became a very good friend of mine. And that's how I started at Caroline's with this business. And it was the luckiest thing it was the smartest decision I ever made, was working with her.
Yeah, she's the greatest. We started out together when I came from Long Island to do the New York club. She was one of the people that took me around to Caroline's and got me into Caroline's and a few other city clubs. And we do gigs. You know, at that point when we were working in New York City, there was so many clubs that we could do 9-10 sets a night at different places. And because I came in from Long Island, I had a beat up car. I would actually drive it to stand up New York and leave my keys in it, you know?
Yeah.
And I'd give it to like Ray Romano or, Mario Cantone would be in a car, and Eddie Brill or Leary or whoever else we were working with. And I'd leave the keys in the car, and I'd say, as long as the car is at Catch a Rising Star by 2:00 in the morning, take it and go, So, and then I was also, because I came from Long Island, I'd pick up Long Island comics, and then we'd have to go to the Improv at 9th and 44th to go to do gigs in New Jersey, because the Improv was the drop-off place and the pickup place.
Wow.
So I would drive a lot, So I would drive Rosie whenever, because Rosie didn't have a car. So I'd pick her up and she'd middle, and we'd go to Jersey or Pennsylvania or whatever and just do gigs, So
I met Rosie O'Donnell once.
You did?
I did, at her show, which you were a warm-up comic for.
Yeah, I warmed up Rosie.
And I probably met you because I was an audience member.
Okay.
My little sister had come in from Seattle. She was 17 at the time. She had just turned 17. And we went into the audience, and we came in. We got there at like 2:00 in the morning. So we were the lottery people.
Right.
And we were the first 5 people in line. So we got in that day. We couldn't sit down. So she was sitting behind me. And at the end where Rosie O'Donnell would let all the kids who are 16 and younger.
Yeah, they'd get the autograph.
Take a picture. And I looked at my sister and I said, you just turned 17, but I think we can get away. I don't like lying. It's very hard for me to lie. Okay. Yeah. It's very, very hard. But I was like, when will we ever get to see Rosie O'Donnell? This is the only chance, this is amazing. You can have your picture taken with her, right? So, and she was, I think, probably the most popular comic and TV show host at the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She did. Our ratings were like through the roof. We actually beat Oprah.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by it at all. So I convinced my sister, my just turned 17-year-old sister, to go and meet Rosie. So we both walked down those little steps, and my sister is 6 feet tall. Wow. My little sister, she's 5 feet taller than me, or 5 inches taller than me. 5 feet, that would be really hard to miss.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be doing comedy.
She'd have her own show.
She'd have her own show. Yeah. Okay, gotta go. Have a great night. Bye, Linda Smith.
Bye, Linda.
So we get down to see Rosie, and this is like, okay, she's been in League of Her Own. She's worked with Madonna. She's like, oh my God, this woman's my hero, right? Like, I'm so starstruck. And all I could say was, this is my little sister. She's from Seattle. She's 6 feet tall. And I did that because I was lying, and I suck at lying. I was like, this is my little sister. She's 6 feet tall. She's from Seattle. That was all I said. And Rosie O'Donnell was just like, hello, little sister. Snap, and then we were gone.
That's it.
I've been so embarrassed ever since then. So embarrassed. But
she goes live. She goes live a lot on Instagram. So
does she?
While I get to say hello to her, but I haven't talked to her in a while. But she was one of the most fun shows that I've ever worked on. Very generous.
Together.
What's that?
You and Linda Smith worked on that together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Writer for it.
Linda was a writer, and she worked on it. Yeah. So Rosie, very, very generous. I'll tell you this story. about Rosie when one day we came in and she was, we got there really early in the morning, 7:30, and I see her in the hallway, and she looked like she hadn't slept. She looked a little disheveled.
Uh-huh.
So I was like busting her chops, and she liked to hang out with Broadway stars and stuff, and she was a Broadway person. So just busting her chops, I said, "Hey, Big Shot, what were you doing? Hanging out at Joe Allen's last night and with all your Broadway friends?" And she goes, "No, I couldn't sleep, so I went to Sloan Kettering and wrote checks."
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
wow.
So she would, she won't say that, but I saw it personally, and we had a few comedian friends of ours whose wives had cancer and siblings had cancer, and Rosie would right away ask me who they were and write checks to those people. And I'm not talking like, talking like 10,000, 20,000. She'd go to Sloan Kettering into the waiting room and find families that are very distraught, and if they needed money, she'd go in incognito, in the middle of the night and just write checks. And those are the stories you don't hear quite often,
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Well, when you see her, tell her I said hi.
If I see her,
I'm sure she'll remember me from 1997.
I was actually, when we were just cleaning our basement out, I was going through these bins that we have of people that wrote me notes, thank you notes. Some of them, a lot of letters were to Rosie, but I got a lot also. And I saved all that. We used to do a thing called Rosie Barbie Theater. I have a couple of the Barbie dolls, Rosie Barbie Theater. And I actually have the cup that she had on her desk where it was a picture of her and Tom Cruise kissing.
Yeah.
So I have some great Rosie O'Donnell memorabilia, but it was a great show to do. I found out I was doing it when I was actually leaving the Ed Sullivan Theater after doing a Letterman spot.
Okay.
The show had been on for 3 days. It went on June 10th, 1996, and I did Letterman June 13th. 1996, and they had tried a couple of warm-up people out, but they weren't really warm-up people. They were more comedy writers.
Yeah.
So Rosie, Daniel Kellison, who produces, he produces Jimmy Kimmel now, and he produced The Man Show, and he went on to produce a bunch of stuff. But he was my producer at Letterman.
Okay.
And he left Letterman to go executive produce at Rosie, and Zoe Friedman, Bud Friedman's daughter, from the Improv, became my producer over at Letterman for me to do stand-up. I got bumped 8 times, but then when I finally did it, I did it on June 13th. So I did my Letterman set, and then as we were walking out of the theater, my manager, Jeff Sussman, who manages Rogan and Kevin James, at the time, we're still very good friends. He just doesn't manage me anymore. So his phone rang, and it was Rosie and Daniel Kellison. They said, "Can you come in tomorrow and try out for this warm-up spot?" Because I had already done warm-up in '93 for Jon Stewart, where the old Wendy Williams shoots now. Actually, I did it for a year. So I said, "Yeah, I'll come in, but what kind of a show is it?" Because at that point, Ricky Lake was on, and it was like
Sally Jesse Raphael,
and there were people throwing chairs at each other. So I said to Rosie, "Rosie, what kind of a show is it going to be? Is it going to be people throwing chairs at each other, or is it going to be?" She says, "I want it really Mike Douglas and Merv Griffin. That's the way I want the show to be. But I want you to bring the fun of a comedy club to it.
Cool.
And it's going to be very kid friendly, and we're just going to have a party every day. We're going to have a band." And I said, "Okay, it sounds like fun to me." And I went in on the that week, the 14th to the 15th, and then of June, and then I stayed there for 6 years, the whole time.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So you've built a career off of working and doing warm-up comedy.
Yeah, well, this year will be 27 years. Yeah,
that's
because my son was born. Because I came off the road to do warm-up. I was a road comic. I did every club in the country. I was doing cruise ships. I was doing corporate shows, but I wanted to be home with my wife and kids. So this gig came along to do warm-up in New York, and I took the Jon Stewart one, and that was a year. And then Rosie came along, and I figured, what am I going to do? Am I going to roll the dice and try to be a famous comedian that does the road and becomes just a famous comedian for doing stand-up? Or do I want a day job where I get to kind of do stand-up anyway?
Right.
Yet it's not my show. I just play second fiddle and prop up somebody else. And at that point, it was a union gig. It was the money was good, and it was benefits and a pension. I figured, let me go for that. And if anything happens in my career along the way, so be it. So I took that route, and it actually paid off. Was the move to do,
Right.
for me at least. A lot of people have done warm up and quit warm up because it's very hard to do. First of all, you got to get up at 5:30 in the morning. When people ask me, "Oh, Joey, can you get me a warm up gig?" I said, "Okay, are you ready to get up at 5:30 in the morning and be at a 7 o'clock meeting?" And they all look at me because they're comics, and they go, "Why do I have to do that? I became a comic because I want to wake up at 12."
Right.
So, well, it's just like this
I
is
don't
a
think I don't think the thought ever came through my head that I wanted to become a comic to wake up at 12.
What's that? I didn't hear what you said.
I didn't become a comic so I could wake up at 12.
Oh, you did. Yeah, you did.
No, I became a comic so I could make people laugh.
There you go. A lot of them though, they want to wake up late. They want to wake up late. They want to, shoot the day, do whatever they want, and then drive to a gig and work for an hour and then come home.
Yeah.
You could do that, but there's no benefits. There's no pension. This is a real job. And with Rachel Ray, we do 3 shows a day.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we do an 11 o'clock, a 2 o'clock, and a 4:15. Sometimes 3:30 or 4:15.
11, 2, and 4?
Like 4. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
How many shows do you do in a year? Like
it started at 180 and then went down to 170. Last year we did 160, but we still owe 22 shows on the season 14. So, and we're coming up to season 15 now in September, Lord willing, so.
That's insane.
Yeah. So I do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We do 3, 2, 3, 8 shows a week. And then I'll do Kevin James on a Friday night. I'm doing 10 of those. And then I go out and do the Sopranos shows on Saturdays, at least once a month. And then it was going to be the European tour. And then I got my own Joey Kola shows where I'm headlining clubs and doing corporate shows and private parties on my own. But
right, yeah.
I'm 58 years old, and it's supply and demand. Luckily, I still get on stage and I bring it because I really try to bring the funny. I try to bring I'm totally vulnerable on stage, and I try to bring as much energy to a performance as I can, and I leave it all out there. By the time I'm done, we're both sweating because we leave it all out there, and that's what people pay for.
Yeah.
People, even James Taylor or somebody who's lower energy, they're really leaving it all out there by the time they get off stage. And that's the goal. The goal is to use up all the gas in the tank, and having done that, succeeded at your goal at making them all laugh too.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. That's probably one of my favorite things about doing comedy is second I step on stage, it's like, okay, full gas.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. So
that's a way to get your anger across also. Like, whenever I'm mad at something, I'm harmless, I'm harmless, but it's a funny mad, which is what I am. But I try to get stuff off my chest on stage. If I have an argument with my wife or my kids or a friend, or if something happens at work, or I see something in the subway or a train or whatever, wherever it comes from, I try to get it out on stage. So I write a lot on stage. I'll come to the stage with a couple premises in my head, but then I spit it out on stage and see where it goes,
Joan Morgan just said, I saw you today, Joey, on Rachel's show. Very cool.
Yeah, we ran a repeat with Reverend Run today, and I was running around. I love Joan. Joan Mangan is going through some tough time right now, like a lot of people are, and I love you, Joan. She's let me tell you about Joan.
Hi, Joan.
She is the best. Joan, I love you, and she's one of a handful of people that, if you're lucky enough to do this a long time, and you get fans that really appreciate you. To the point where they come out to all your shows. They stay in touch with you on social media. Joan and I talk a lot. So, you start out as being like a fan of somebody, but now we're in a stage, and I'm not Mick Jagger. I'm at a level where I'm the every guy. I live in a local I'm a local guy.
Right.
So I never want to be a type of guy that has celebrity where I'm untouchable, where,
right.
Where I'm, you're that big a celebrity. like, so, but Joan is Joan, Angela Curro. There's so many people. There's this woman Laura that I know that who works at a jewelry store near my house, and I have so many people that are fans of what I do and fans of mine that I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate it, because we're friends as well as being someone that I entertain. There's Pat Stremese, who used to be my neighbor across the street where I am, and ironically now she's a half hour away, and she's my daughter's neighbor. And
Ah,
she was a nurse, and when my kids were little, she took care of my kids at the local doctor at the pediatrician's
wow.
office. That's who's saying hi now. Hi, Pat. How are
Hi,
you?
Pat. Wow. Yeah, I have a few. I have. It's you've been doing this for 40 years. I've been doing it for almost 8. I have created some really nice friendships out of comedy. And it's funny because in the beginning when people were like, let's go hang out or do something, I'm like, no.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but I've had people when I had when I did the series, the OMG show, 80% of the people that came to see the show would come back every single month. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a Wednesday night. We ended up second to last show, we had 417 people in the audience.
Well, that's because you're a force. You are a major force.
I don't mess around.
But you're a great soul and a good personality. And I told you, what did I say? The first 5 minutes I met you, what did I say? I said, you're going to be famous. You're a star already, but you didn't even go on stage. And I remember it was the Treehouse in Westport.
Yeah.
It was the Treehouse in Westport, and you came in and we talked for not even a minute. And you were like, "Hey, Mr. Kola," and I said, "No, no, no, I'm not Mr. Kola. I'm Joey, and you're going to be famous."
Which is hysterical.
And yeah, you started laughing like crazy, and then you got on stage and you killed. You really destroyed the room. You made me work that night, which is
I don't think.
no,
you were.
yeah, you did. You did, and you're a force, and that's one of the reasons why I love you so much. So, you can tell by the work that you do. I mean, you're getting booked in more and more places, and everybody loves you. And that's the bottom line: is that you and I both we keep our hearts into charity work.
Yeah.
Like I'm involved in about 30 different charities, as well as individual charities. If somebody needs money or whatever, or little kids with leukemia and stuff like that. Sometimes I can't get to all of them because there are just so many that I do that I can only get to a few of them. I mean, Guardian Brain Foundation, Mary Pilata,
wow,
and Breathe Believe, my friend Sammy Ruggieri, and all these benefits. I try to befriend the people that are part of the organizations, but I also befriend the people that are being benefited through those charities also. And I also try to help my friends out as much as possible. We're only here for a little while. Let's get in, help each other, and get out. That's my motto.
Make a difference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my slogan for the funny raising comedy shows is built on laughter, sustained by kindness.
There you go.
Because it really is. I mean, I love doing the fundraisers because I love making people laugh and I love helping.
And you know what, Jess? People like you and I, we look for the comedy. We look for the funny. Like I said before, I'm not letting this thing, whatever this thing is that we're experiencing together now, I'm not letting this affect me. But ultimately, the good souls and the comedy is what's going to raise us above whatever this is. If we all want to hear about, I mean, I have a lot of friends that are comedians that are getting on and talking about, did you hear what happened today? Did you hear what happened politically? Did you hear?
Yeah.
All of us got political opinions. However, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be somebody that when you think of that person, you smile.
You smile.
That's who I want to be, and that's who you are to me. And everybody's got a handful of those people that when you think about
yeah, you're definitely that for me too.
Thank you. You don't even have to. They don't even have to say a word. You could see a picture of that person, and it puts you in a good mood right away.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
And I want to try to be that person for people. And if you could be that person for people, it takes you. Doing stand up, you get to take their minds away for a while. You get to bring them in your little world and then set them back nice.
I will never forget. I was doing a fundraiser for veterans, and it was Blue Star, Gold Star families, which Gold Star families are basically people who have lost their children
Right.
in war, and
Yeah.
Blue Star families were typically people who, when they came over veterans, committed suicide.
Right.
So, and I am a veteran, so
Yeah.
veterans are really, any kind of first responders, emergency police, fire, military. I feel a very kinship with people that are in the services, right?
Yeah.
So I remember this lady had come in with the group, and she was so pale, and I knew her son had committed suicide, so I went up and I gave her a big hug. And I said, I just want you to know, I said, my mom committed suicide. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so, and I gave her a hug, and she was like, yeah, they forced me to come here. Right.
Right.
And Vince August was the first, I think Vince August headlined that show.
Okay.
And at the end of the show, I went back to see her, and you could see the color in her face.
Right.
Like it made like she like laughing it's that important, right?
Yeah.
Like she had color in her face. She was happy. I mean, it was an insane turnaround, and it was like, holy shit. This was probably, I was a year and a half in, maybe, right?
Right.
And it was just like, wow, that's powerful. Like, I mean, I know it works for me.
Powerful.
So powerful. And I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. Because I mean, you don't realize the power it has until you've physically seen people metaphysically change, like you're talking about.
And it changes me too. Every time I get on stage, I remember going to a friend's funeral, and that night I had to perform at Foxwoods. And I was like, I don't know how you go from a funeral to performing, and I did it. And I was like, oh my God, I can do this too.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing for me, because up to that point, I didn't know that you couldn't not grieve for a continuous period of time without taking a break. Right. Yeah. And all of a sudden I was like, how am I telling jokes during all of this? And I was like, this is really healing. So it's also healing for us.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So two sides of the same show. I mean, it's hard. This is the hardest for me, because I feel very helpless in all of this, and I don't know how to help people, but I'll be ready when it's done. Me
too. I try to go every day. I mean, I try to, I'm a very, I use that word spiritual, I believe in the teachings of Christ, but I'm not a religious guy at all.
Gotcha.
I don't go religion, but I believe in the teachings of people that were prophets that were here.
Right.
And I take those lessons and I try to instill them, and I connect my soul to whatever I can to help people move along this journey. When my mother passed away in 1986, I was off stage for a long time, and I went out to LA with my friend Steve Owen. I coached him on Star Search. And then when he lost, we stayed with John Mulrooney and Richard Jenny at their apartment in LA. And they actually took me to a gig, and I hadn't been on stage in over a month.
Wow.
And without telling me, I think Mulrooney was emceeing, or Steve-O. Anyway, they brought me on stage, and I just did 5 minutes on automatic pilot. And at that point, my mother had just passed away, and I was in a very bad way. But they brought me on stage. They said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Joey Kola." And it was an all African-American audience in the San Bernardino Valley at a Quality Inn. I mean, I was way out of my element. And I did 5 minutes on automatic pilot, totally. And I didn't do bad. I didn't do well, but I held my own.
Right.
I realized that, and I got off stage, and these guys were like crying, and they were like, "See, you had suicide on your mind, and you had this on your mind.
Wow.
You didn't think you were going to be a stand-up comic, and now look, that audience had no idea who you were and what you went through, but the words you just said put them in a good mood. You were able to use your tool, your facilities, your mechanism to still make it work, even though you were torn up inside." Wow. And it was a miraculous thing.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the moment. I think that's the moment that we all have.
Yeah. Well, there might be many moments, but I mean, that was one of the real eye-opening thing,
Yeah.
So, and then there's times where you in this career, you get thrown into situations where you go, Oh my God, careful what you wish for. You might get it, you know? Like when they asked me to warm up America's Got Talent at Radio City in front of 6,000 people with, Howard Stern and then Mel B and Howie Mandel and Heidi Klum as the judges, and Nick Cannon was the host. I was the warm up for that. And there
Oh
was a
my
couple of
God.
nights I was doing that where the pay was really good, but I walked out onto the stage at Radio City Music Hall without doing my act. Remember, it was just to warm up their show. So I couldn't really do my act. It was
Right.
more like cheerleading.
Yeah.
It was like a lot of screaming and, hey, you guys ready to blah, blah, blah. And it was a couple of points where I was on that stage in front of 6,000 cheering people going, the little voice on this side was like, do you know where you are right now? You're going to, oh my God, we better get out of here. This guy's going, relax, just do it. You're fine, you got all the tools. This guy's going, let's get out of here. This is crazy. This is insane.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
I actually auditioned for America's Got Talent.
you did?
I did it as a singer.
A singer?
A singer, yes.
I didn't know you sing.
I do, yeah.
Under the characters, I know obviously you sing, but I didn't know you sang professionally or.
No, I sang with vodka. Yeah, I sang with vodka a lot, and I remember I was, after my mom passed away, I was pretty depressed, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I would like piddle around, do little things, like I taught myself how to do websites. I teach myself how to do tech stuff on the computer or whatever. Right. And I was sitting on my couch one night. I think it was like we had just moved into our house. It was 2010, and I was watching this girl sing a song on America's Got Talent. And I was like, you know what? I could do that better than her.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm a little confident. I'm a little overconfident, right? Because when I sing with vodka, I sound and look like Patsy Cline. Okay?
Yeah.
Except for...
What did you sing, Crazy?
I did not. I sang Ain't No Sunshine. Built by Bill Withers.
Yeah, I love that song.
It's a great song, right? But there were things that I had problems with. Like, for example, my family nickname is PJ. So my whole family calls me PJ. And then I just go by Jess. So I was like, well, I don't know. I flew to Seattle. I saw my sister. I'm like, let's go do America's Got Talent. And whatever. And she was pregnant. And she was absolutely miserable. And if she gets on this, I hope she gets on this right now because she was a miserable person. She was huge and she was moody. And I was like, I don't know if I should go by PJ or Jess. She's like, I don't care, just pick one. And I was like, fine, okay, fine. You know what? I'll go by PJ. And so, and then the other thing I had a problem with was how to dress.
Right.
Because I'm fairly androgynous.
Okay.
I would not even say fairly. I am very androgynous to the general public.
Me
the
too.
General public, if I was wearing my hat right now, would be like, why does that dude have such a high voice? That's what would happen, right? So it's such a long story. So I was going back before. So I was singing Ain't No Sunshine When He's Gone because I was actually singing the Eva Cassidy version of it.
Right.
Right. Who's a woman. So Ain't No Sunshine When He's Gone. Right. And I recorded it at my friend's studio. So I'd have a copy of it so I could sing it. And for 3 weeks, I mean, from the time I decided to do this, it was 3 weeks until I was at AGT auditioning in Seattle. I don't mess around. When I'm like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. And that's it. I'm just going to do it. And I jump in head first and I have no idea what's going to happen or what I'm going to learn along the way, but I just do it. And then I learn a lot by doing that. I mean, I learned that sometimes maybe you shouldn't do that way.
Yeah.
But
never enter a contest you can't win. You got to know you could win it.
Well, I thought I could win it. I thought, well, you know what? They're not going to know what sex I am. So they're going to be guessing a lot. So that's going to be intriguing. So I have an in there. Gay people are starting to come in to the mainstream, like still 2010. I'm like, gay people, they want gay people. And I hit those marks and I said, and I'm a beautiful singer, right? And so all of these things, okay? So we get into this little room. There's no vodka.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, I never really, I mean, I have sang without vodka, but up to that point, I was like mostly comfortable with vodka. And so there's no vodka, so I'm very, very nervous. And this guy gets up. He looks like Colonel Sanders. He hits the pitch pipe. He goes, "Woo!" And I'm like, ha! I just had to bury my face because there were 14 of us, and I was laughing at him. And I'm like, that's not appropriate, right? Nervous.
Right.
I have a nervous laughter syndrome. So I go up and I start to sing, and they call me up as Jess, and then they go, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's PJ." And I'm like, "Nah, just call me Jess. It's okay." And so I start to sing, and I'm like, "Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. It's not warm when she's away." And I start interchanging the pronouns.
Oh my God.
And I was like, "This is confusing me." But it was very fun. It kind of got me back into theater, back into music, and eventually comedy. America Got Talent helped me get into comedy. So
There
that's
you
my
go.
AGT story. They don't know.
Everything's a stepping stone. Hey, you know that song, Ain't No Sunshine? Bill Withers says, I know 26 times.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I
It's
know.
either 26 or 28. I'm not sure, but it's one of those. But every time I hear it, I count it out. I
Do
think,
you really?
yeah, 26, I think it is.
You just sit there and go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, yeah. And I know. I will let it 26.
I know. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So fun. So fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I had fun. And then I had auditioned for the X Factor. And in the X Factor, I did that as a singer as well. That was in New York
okay.
City, right? And there were like, I don't know, they must have had 100. I was in Newark at the convention center.
Right.
And they put up 10-foot rooms around the entire convention center. And the guy says, "What's your name?" And this time I knew what to say. I was like, "My name is Jess." And he goes, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't plan for that question." So I was like, "Well, I was born in Kentucky, but I grew up in Tennessee, and then I moved to Oregon, but then I went into the military, went to Alabama, worked in Virginia for a little bit, left, went to Oregon, went up to Seattle, went back into the military, went back to Virginia, and now it's Springfield, Massachusetts." And I swear to God, this is a true story. And he goes, "Okay, what are you going to sing?" And I said, "Ain't No Sunshine." And I got the pronouns right on that one. And then he goes, "Okay, we're all set. Thanks." And that was the end of my auditioning career for X Factor.
Wait, you didn't even sing?
Oh, I sang. It wasn't good.
So
It wasn't good.
you just sang and got turned down.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So
That's a rejection, but I didn't care.
no, at least you took the shot, that's another thing about doing stand-up. I'm back in the 80s and 90s, there was a bunch of these shows, Evening at the Improv, Caroline's Comedy Hour, A&E's Comedy on the Road. There was a million of those, and I did all of them back in the 80s and 90s. If you look on my Google page, you'll see them all over the place. But now comedy has changed so much that it's all about, how many people like your page, how many people view whatever you've done.
Yeah.
Then you had to go the audition process. There's no audition process. Like right now, if I just got naked and did something like crazy,
and you went viral,
this would go viral. And like, I didn't have to go through 3 sections of people and a studio head to let me know if I'm going to be somebody or not.
Isn't that crazy?
It's good and bad. I mean, I guess you kind of need those filters, but those filters don't always know what they're talking about either,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy business.
Yeah.
I always ask Linda, I'm like, "What's the next step? What do I have to do next?" So, I just do me.
That's
I
it.
do what I love to do. The bottom line is I just love doing what I do. I love making people laugh, and I love helping people at the same time.
Yeah, well, you know what? You could try your best, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen anyway, so you might as well just ride it out. Try to make stuff happen, try to write new bits, try to get on this show, try to do this show. You try to do as much as you can, but eventually it's kind of out of your hands. I did a set at the Melrose Improv years ago.
Like in California, Melrose?
California, yeah.
Okay.
And this guy, Andy Tennant, who's a great director, saw me and said, "I'm going to put you in my next film." And that film was Fools Rush In with Matthew Perry.
You were in that?
Well, let me finish.
Okay. Oh,
I'm in it. You might say I'm in it.
I'm gonna go and watch it tonight.
Yeah. So he says you're going to be the second lead. It's going to star Matthew Perry, and then you're going to be the second lead in it. And I went, great. This is like the early '90s. This is going to be a big career move for me. So they flew me to Vegas to read. I went back to New York. They flew me to Vegas to read with Matthew Perry a few times. I had a few meetings in LA. I had a manager and I had an agent. I think I was with William Morris at that point, and I had it all going on. I had a little bit of a machine working, you know?
Yeah.
So Andy Tennant, the director, said he loves me. He wants to give me the part, and he wants. So it was all systems go, and I was like all in on this. I had the script, and I was gonna give it my all, and I was young Joey Kola, and it was gonna be great. So I'm in my backyard one day, and we had a show here in New York on WPLJ called The Rocky Allen Show. There's a guy named Rocky Allen, and his sidekick was Blaine. And his show was on in the afternoon from like 3 to 6 or 3 to 5 in the afternoon or something like that, or 4 to 7, I think, on WPLJ here in New York, 95.5. So I happened to be in my backyard in my shed, just piddling around, sharpening a lawnmower blade or whatever I do, you know.
Yeah.
And I got the radio on and I'm listening to Rocky Allen and Blaine. And they have a guest is Matthew Perry.
Oh, no.
He's a guest on the show. So I'm listening to this going, oh man, my name's got to come up because I'm doing a movie with him.
Yeah.
And a week earlier, I talked to Rocky Allen on the phone and I told him about it. I said, Rocky, I'm doing this movie with Matthew Perry and this and that. Don't say anything yet, but it's going to be a big deal. So I figured Matthew Perry is going to come on that show, promote whatever he's doing with friends, and then also promote this movie we're doing called The Fools Rush In. It's about this guy who's in Vegas and he has a friend and the building developer, and he falls in love with Selma Hayek.
Yeah.
She goes back to Mexico and he doesn't marry her and he marries her. It's a whole thing. But I would play his sidekick. So he gets on the radio and he's with Rocky Allen. So he says, I'm doing a new movie called Fools Rush In. So Rocky Allen says, oh yeah, we heard about that. I heard about that. It's also going to be starring one of our good buddies, Joey Kola. So Matthew Perry says,
oh shit,
no, he's not. So I'm in the shed and I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, Joey's not in it.
Oh.
Meanwhile, now that the shit hit the fan, I was like, I got on the phone with my manager and he called the agent. And I was like, what do you mean I'm not in it? I just flew back and forth to audition. The director is telling me I'm in it. The agents are telling me I'm in it. Everybody's telling me I'm in it. Apparently, he put John Tenney in it. I don't know if you know John Tenney. He's an actor.
Yeah.
Who's a friend of his. He put him in the part that I was going to play, and he took some other people out, and he made some casting adjustmants.
Is this Matthew Perry did this?
Yeah. Okay. Needless to say, I'm not a big fan. So, yeah. I never want to see an episode of Friends for the rest of my life. But I saw him actually later on. I think he did the Rosie O'Donnell show to promote that movie, and I was working on Rosie, and he kind of came up to me and went, "Hey, no hard feelings, right, man?" I said, "Yeah, whatever, no hard feelings." I mean,
yeah, of course, that's
one of many things that could have gotten me to another level, but for whatever reason, I just stayed where I am and who I am.
Yeah,
I'm totally fine with it. I'm like, other people wish things for me that I don't even wish for myself because I'm really comfortable with right where I am. I'm living the exact life that I wanted to live. And let me it's even better. It's even better than I could have wished for myself, if you could believe that.
I can believe that.
I mean, I did Letterman and I thought that could have got me up to another level. I mean, I did Fallon's show, and I thought that might have helped in something. I mean, every little thing helps to a certain extent.
Right.
But you really gotta be that. You gotta be 24/7, 1,000,000% into that
all the time.
All in, and that's all. And I didn't want that. I wanted to be a good husband, a good father. I wanted a house with a yard, and I wanted to be a basic guy. Little things make me happy. Birds, butterflies, fish tanks, going fishing, spending
Right.
time by the water.
You like to go fishing?
I love to go fishing.
Let's go fishing this summer.
Let's do it as soon as we can. If they open up the oceans again.
Do you have a boat?
I had one. Rosie gave me a boat the last episode of Rosie O'Donnell, but I got rid of that a while ago because I didn't have time to get on it and the engine broke. But
Okay.
no, I go off the dock and I go surf casting for bluefish and striped bass.
What do you use for bait?
Well, I use a lot of lures when I go for striped bass and bluefish, but I use clams, I use squid, I use spearing. It depends on what kind of fish you're going for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so you're in Long Island, right?
Yeah. By the way, it's on Long Island.
You're on Long Island, not
Long
in it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Now, when I go to Florida, they have canals.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of separated by a peninsula so that you're not completely in the ocean, but you can fish, but you're not in the ocean.
Right.
So do you have that at Long Island?
Yeah, we do. We do. We have it in the bay side.
Can you rent like pontoon boats and go fishing?
Yeah, you can do that on the North Shore and the South Shore.
Oh my God, I'm getting excited. So we need to go rent a pontoon boat and go fishing. I want to do that with you this summer.
All right, we'll try to do it. If we can, we'll do that. We'll go on the North Shore, fishing a little better in the Sound. You know,
oh my God, yes.
Striped bass and bluefish. Or I go surf casting off the beach on the South Shore of Long Island. The South Shore is sandy, but the North Shore and the Sound is a little bit rockier. And there's fish on each side. But I catch and eat almost all the fish that I catch, from porgies to sea bass to striped bass to blackfish, all of it, you know. And
do you ever use worms?
Sometimes. I used to use worms when I went flounder fishing, but there's no more flounder. The only flounder that still exists up in Quincy, up by Massachusetts.
Steph and I caught a flounder in Maryland.
Did she really?
Ocean?
Was it a summer flounder? Was it a fluke?
I caught the flounder. Okay.
It could have been a fluke, though. What time of year?
Yeah, it was a fluke. All right.
Yeah, because there's a fluke is a summer flounder.
No, it was flat.
Yeah.
And it was like, brownish gray on.
Yeah, that was probably a fluke. Was it summer?
It was summertime.
Okay, because that's a fluke. A fluke is a fluke and a flounder look the same, but a flounder has a smaller mouth, no teeth, and like gummier.
Oh, this thing had teeth.
And both are, that's a fluke. A fluke is much bigger and much more aggressive. Yeah,
they're very aggressive. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you so a little something about I gotta preface this for you, because if you decide that you would go fishing with me, you have to know certain things about me.
Okay.
I will not touch a live worm.
All right.
I have tried it for a long time, and I cannot do it because it was squid.
Okay.
You know what a high C sounds like?
I
musically,
think so.
It's really way up there in the stratosphere. Okay. I can hit that. I'm not a soprano, but with a worm, I am. Okay.
All right.
Then I can't quite take the fish off the hooks. So basically, all I like to do is just stand there and do that with the fishing reel.
All right.
That's me, right? So we caught this. We stopped. We were coming up from Florida, and we stopped. We took the Chesapeake Bay Bridge coming home, which is a beautiful drive.
Yeah.
And you can go to Ocean City, Maryland. So we were like, do you want to go or do you want to? So we were like, let's go last minute. And so we just turned right and we went to Ocean City, Maryland. Turns out they have pontoon boats there for rent. And we went out and we're going to have a really beautiful picnic, and we're going to go fishing, and it's going to be so much fun. And we weren't going to catch anything, Joey. We're not going to catch anything. We didn't want to catch anything. We're just casting our reels, our reels. Yeah. Reel it in, cast it out. Reel it in, cast. Yeah. And I caught that motherfucking fish, right? And I was like, "Oh my God, I got some!" Which is very exciting for me. I'm like, "I got it!" Right? And I pull it up, and it's this flat fish. And I was like, "Well, how the fuck do we get this off the hook?" So we're in the middle of the ocean.
You should have.
I don't know how to get this fish off the hook. And so I called my friend. I'm like, Zach, I don't know what kind of fish this is, and you're not answering. So then I had to make another phone call. I called my friend Frank in Florida. I'm like, Frank, there's a fish. It has teeth. we don't know how to get it off. He's like, do you have a towel? I'm like, yeah, we have a towel. Why? He's like, use the towel. Yeah. So Steph is with the fish. Steph is amazing. Steph will take everything off. I won't take anything off. That scared me. I was like, you're gonna get bit. It had really big teeth.
Maybe you and I should just fly a kite together instead of going fishing.
No, I love fishing. I love fishing.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I would. You have to come down to Long Island, and I'll take you to a spot, and we'll do a little fishing.
Okay, we'll see how much you can tolerate me.
All right.
That's really what it's about. People have to be able to tolerate me in order to have me go fishing with them. So, do you want to? I know we got to wrap up because I know you're tired and I'm tired. Do you hear that?
What is that?
That's Stephanie laughing. I don't know why she's laughing though.
All right. As long as she's laughing, that's all.
She's laughing, and Joan's laughing, so that's good. I know you got done. You just did Gender Bender with Gilbert Gottfried.
That was 3 years ago. We did that. We had a summer off, and we did this movie. It was very silly.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun to do, and people could see it on Google Play, on Amazon. It's called Gender Bender, and I'm one of the producers as well as one of the stars of it. So.
Nice.
Not exactly my finest work, but if you're high and drunk, you'll get a kick out of it.
Okay. Anything else you want to promote besides not being able to do comedy for the time being?
That's it. Just love each other and be patient. This is all going to be over, and good times are going to be behind it. I really feel that way.
I do too. At some point, that will happen.
Yeah.
Can't stay like this forever. So
that's right.
I love you, Joey Kola.
I love you, Jess Miller. You're a good soul, and you make me happy. So thanks for inviting me on tonight, pal.
What's that?
Thanks for inviting me on tonight.
Thank you for coming on. I'm really grateful to you for that.
All right. Next time I see you, we'll have fishing poles in our hands.
Yeah. I will. I'm gonna send you a text sometime when it warms up.
Okay. All right.
All right. I love you. Be well, my friend.
I love you too. All right. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, now how do I close tabs?
Yeah, we're all set. Yeah, we got it. Okay, good. That was cute.
Oh my God, the delay is so long.
Yeah, we're done.
I was laughing because of the fish story. I didn't think you could hear me.
I heard you.
Sorry.
It's okay. Joey's like, what's that?